doing another installment of the Preparing for Q4 to kind of do an update on something, but also maybe giving you some ideas as well for your own personal. I'm here because I love Christmas. I source so much Christmas, and it's a very stressful time of the year. I mean, I think we all feel some anxiety of some sort around this time of the year, even if you're not celebrating it, only because there is so much in the marketing, in the stores, in the activity around. And for me, having a business that is just off the charts for that month to 2 months in November, December, it gets very difficult. And I've said in my other episodes, how do you prepare? There's a lot of preparation, I've said, in my own personal self and my personal tasks that I've been through experience able to schedule or carve out the time for. But here's one of the episodes that I started to realize as I was doing my end of the week wrap up for this week, was how much preparation I did from last Christmas season that I'm reaping the benefit of now. One of the things that I've said before is I've had leg reconstructive surgery. Both of my knees at this point need to be replaced because the reconstructive surgery really was not effective. And I have had much difficulty in these last several years trying to get up and down attic stairs. If I was able to do it, I wasn't going to be taking boxes and bags and trees, and there was no way. And that left me reliant on my son and my husband, and it didn't always mesh up with our schedules. Like, I would want to go and do something, I had an extra hour or two, but I didn't have one of them around to possibly go get the stuff out of the attic. Or if they were free, they would want me there because the stuff was getting put away in a very haphazard way. Either the tubs were just having a mismatch of different rooms or areas in with it, and then they would just put it up in the attic in whatever order they just took it up there in. And I'm not criticizing them, but when it came time for me to want to do something, if they were home and I wasn't, they were not just bringing stuff down. They wanted me to be there to kind of tell them what I was looking for, and I don't blame them for that. But it just left a lot of stress in me or them trying to get this decorating done, because I do really love Christmas, that if I don't have my own home decorated, I feel I'm negligent to my customers. Now that I'm doing these YouTube channels, I feel like I'm very negligent and that I'm not doing what I preach, so to speak. So last year I made the decision and I bought these shelving units you would typically see like in a restaurant, the metal shelving units. Got them at Lowe's. I'm sure that there's better quality, but they are very sturdy for what I need. I bought new tubs that fit to every square inch of that shelving to maximize. And I put this stuff away how it made sense to me. My form of decorating is that I like to take a specific room and a specific area. I tend to undecorate what is there for previous. I tend to do a deep cleaning, bring out the new. It usually involves fluffing up and cleaning and all that anyway. And then at the end of it, I'll do like the vacuuming and stuff, because all of that stuff brings the glitter and the flocking and the needles and all that stuff. And that's how I like to do it. But when they're bringing everything out because they're not sure what to bring, or I get one tub with this part of it in it and that tub with that part in it, then I start having a lot of tubs around, and it just left me very anxious. I wasn't able to do the cleaning how I wanted to do it, or the fluffing up and all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't getting done how I wanted to do it. And I knew last year it was a pain point for me, and I had to find the solution. And I'm happy that it did come out in the way I expected or I wanted it to be, because now I can go down in the basement, I can grab the specific tubs, I labeled them, and it makes sense to me, who's primarily the person doing the decorating. I also want to say, if you're a person that has like limitations and disabilities, it can be done. I'm doing it. I'm having to take a lot of breaks in between, but that's okay. For me, that gives me a chance to sit back and kind of evaluate. I do that anyway, to make sure that I like the angle of something or the placement of something. And if this is like really like, Kristen, I'm not interested, I get it. But it's a point of me saying that if you're having pain points, you may have to take a year in advance to get through the solution that you're going to face to get to the point where it's not the pain point anymore. It's not as painful as it needs to be anymore. So I'm going to just tell you, figure it out in a sense that makes sense for you. I had to go into this whole thing with my husband and my son and basically tell them to butt out. I did it not like that at all. And trust me, I don't think either one of them care that they had to be out of it. So far, I've needed my husband to bring up a Christmas tree. And other than that, there really wasn't anything else that was needed. And I'm happy for that because it's less stress on everybody. They love the decorations when they get up. They, I think, love to know that they're not having to be pushed and prodded, and all that stress is left because I planned it last year. Hope this helps, gives you some ideas. I'm talking about what's relevant in my world, but there may be things in your world. Again, maybe Q4 isn't the stressful time of the year for you. Maybe it's in the spring because maybe you have a summer-based business. Maybe it's trying to finish and get school years ended. If that's the case, find out how it's going to work for you, and it may take a year. It may take a couple of years to, I mean, this is not my first rodeo in trying to figure out how to get Christmas organized in my house. I took over a huge section of our basement to do this, but I also feel happier about it because you know what else? I'm taking this stuff out and I'm not seeing as much damage from the heat, from being in my attic here in southern New Jersey, where we have probably 125 degree temperatures in my attic when it's almost 100 degrees outside. That does do a lot of damage to things like my decorations. You know, there were specifically things I never put in the attic, like candles, that I had to separate out, and now I can keep things together and it's not being split up and having to remember, like, what did I put? Another thing that I did last year was I took pictures of everything in every area in my house so that I could go back, and I've used those references. It's not an ego thing for me. It was for me to go back, remember how things got put out, so it wasn't a guessing game anymore. But it was also me having to remember, like, what I had or what I didn't have, or what I liked or what I didn't like. I spent Saturday going and doing some shopping. There's some wrapping papers you can see in over my shoulder here. I spent Saturday, I knew that I didn't like the ribbon on this one tree. I knew what the tree looked like by having these pictures, and it made my shopping so much easier now to remember what I wanted, and I could buy it ahead of getting the stuff up. My past years, I'd have to put all my decorations up and then realize, like, oh, you know what, I meant to get this other ribbon and I didn't like this one from last year. And now I'm kind of having to stop what I'm doing so I can run out and go get all that stuff. Doesn't need to be done that way because I thought ahead in what my pain points were to find different things that were going to work or not work. Truthfully, there's a couple of things when I look back and I thought they looked fine, and I look back in the pictures now and I'm like, I really wish I hadn't done it that way, or I'm really happy I did it that way. Just use the time that you have to think constructively, and there are a lot of solutions. So I hope this helps you out. I would appreciate a thumbs up if you got any good information out of this. Again, it may not be a topic that is relevant or pain point in your life. Just listen to the message that I'm trying to give in there, is that it takes planning, and sometimes it takes a lot of planning. Only the things that are going to work for you are going to be thought up by you, probably. So I would appreciate some comments down below. If there's anything else that's worked for you that you want to share that maybe will give inspiration to somebody else. And I would really appreciate it if you hit a subscribe button down below. It'll allow me to help grow this channel and pass messages along to other people that may be able to use it, but it'll also put my future videos in your feed. I'm going to say bye for now, and I'll catch you in the next one.